Hey, what's up everybody? Prospector here with Watcher Realms. Today we're checking out Malrik, the Rogue of Runes, the new Infernal ESO Mage. He has dual abilities to do fire and frost damage, including Winter's Bite. So this hero is going to be very strong. As far as my little bit of testing that I have done, it's been quite insane. But anyways, without further ado, let's dig it. Alright, so this is Malrik. He has the Gandalf look to him, you know, the staff, the sword, and wouldn't you know it, he even has a pipe. So he's getting some of his tobacco as he's going. He is fire and ice. Basically, that's kind of the theme that they're going here with Malrik. But he also has very cool aesthetics. I think it's pretty simple, yet it's pretty cool. I mean, he's got this like mushroom mystical thing going on underneath his hat, and, you know, the beard, cloak, everything. It's pretty standard stuff for a mage. And I like the addition to just a standard mage like this. This is why I kind of like the aesthetics of Beatrix. But anyways, getting into the kit, I want to start off with the hero details and take a look at the stats quickly. As you can see, his range is a normal mage style range. HP is 10.8, attack is 4,683. This isn't too crazy, but it is very strong still because he has attack boosting abilities in his kit. Defense, magic, res is pretty standard stuff. Cost is 19, block is 1, redeployment time of 60, attack interval is 2.6, so you're probably gonna get it down to like a 1.5 attack interval in good gear. And attack speed is 100, crit rate, crit damage, healing effect stuff's all pretty standard. Regen auto is 14, when he attacks he gets 10, and when attacked he gets 6. Alright, so right onto the skills. On the talent, the hero gained 20% damage increase, so this is by default. So as soon as you place him on the field, he gets a 20% damage increase, which is kind of a weird thing. But I'm assuming they wanted to give him more damage, but they didn't want to boost his attack any further than it already was. Grants Wizard's Rune to the next hero deployed in attack range. This effect can be triggered one time per deployment. Wizard's Rune is going to increase the allies' attack, defense, and HP by 10%. And in order to get this Wizard's Rune to place, basically what you have to do is place down Malrik, and then whatever next unit you place within his attack range is going to get that rune. And there's some other mechanics that go in there as well. When Wizard's Rune is granted to an allied platform unit, Malrik's Fire form will be replaced with Frost form. Fire form is more single target damage, and it can do burning, and Frost form is more AoE damage, and it can inflict a Winter's Bite. So it depends on what you want to use him for. Either way, if you want him to switch, you have to place a platform hero within his range to get him into Frost form. Otherwise, he's just going to stay in Fire form for single target damage. Alright, so under the basic attack, there's a magic attack, so it's magic damage. Deals 100% damage one time to one enemy in range, goes up to 120%. And the first passive is Elemental Covenant. While in the same form, every 5 basic attacks trigger Fire Blast or Ice Storm one time. So you could argue that increasing his speed might be a huge factor in getting more damage out of him, but it's hard to say yet. If no basic attack is launched for 5 seconds, the next attack is guaranteed to trigger this effect. Alright, so Fire Blast is going to deal 320% damage one time to one enemy in range and inflict burning, and then Ice Storm is going to deal 25% AoE damage one time per second to the target and 5 surrounding enemies for 4 seconds, with a 50% chance to inflict Winter's Bite. Now, if you don't know, 50% chance to inflict Winter's Bite is extremely strong, but it's only going to happen every 5 attacks, so that's something to keep in mind. And that's going to be on average every 7.5 seconds. He's going to have a 50% chance to inflict Winter's Bite. Of course, you could increase that by increasing his attack speed even further, so you can lower down that threshold a little bit. Put him in attack speed. Make him as fast as you possibly can. Get a lot of Winter's Bite. Rune Mastery, next passive is when casting the ultimate, restores 5% rage to heroes granted with Wizard's Rune, and permanently increases the hero's attack by 3%. This is going to go up to a 5% for a total of 25% maximum. If no one is granted with runes, restores an extra 5% rage for the hero. And this is also going to be 10% rage as well, fully scaled out. And if he doesn't have anybody with Wizard's Rune, essentially what's going to happen is he's going to restore 10% of his rage. If he does have somebody out there with the rune, he's going to restore 10% of their rage instead. Alright, on to the Awakenings. Awaken level 1, Elemental Covenant is enhanced. Fire Blast deals 60% extra increased damage and inflicts vulnerability of magic damage. That's pretty strong, and it's extra 10% damage. Ice Storm inflicts freeze on enemies, reduces damage interval by 0.3 seconds, and increases the chance to inflict Winter's Bite to 70%. There you go. Awaken level 3 is going to be very, very strong. Awaken level 2 is attack plus 300. Awaken level 3 increases speed boost gain from attack speed by 20%. There you go. So obviously it's all about the Winter's Bite when you want to put them in AoE. Winter's Bite, Winter's Bite, Winter's Bite. Winter's Bite is super strong and annoying to deal with. Penetration plus 8% on Awaken 4, and Awaken 5 is the hero gains an extra 10% damage increase. So it's going to be a total of 30% on his talent. When either the hero or a hero granted with Wizard Rune dies, applies Wizard's Incantation to them. And Wizard Incantation prevents death one time when the carrier takes fatal damage. Dispels all debuffs on them and restores 50% of their max HP. There you go. Awaken 5 is just kind of niche. Awaken level 4 is and Awaken level 3 is pretty important if you want to try to use them for like GVG or something along those lines, or you need to get a lot of Winter's Bite. This is going to be the essential awakening here. And then Awaken level 1 is probably going to be what most people are going to get, and Awaken level 1 is actually very strong. So it's nice having that the Awaken level 5 not so important. You either get Awaken level 5 like Sun Wukong, or the hero's kind of not that great. So checking out the build that I'm going to have on him. Let's see, Malrik. There we go. He's in a Soulbound Arcana set. He can get back to his ult pretty darn quickly. All the pieces, I have him in attack speed, crit rate, crit damage, and flat attack on the right side here, just like this. You could focus on rage regen if you wanted to try to get more of his ults off a lot faster, which is a possibility. His ultimate cost is actually pretty low, so it's not really that big of a deal. On the left side, I just went with attack bonus, crit rate, crit damage, and then quad roll here on the breastplate, and just picked Warlord to keep things simple because it's what most people are probably going to end up using. On the artifact, there's not a ton of great options. I want to say if you want to maybe try to get his ultimate off more, you could go with something like a Nightmare Samsara, try to get his rage back coming a lot faster. But otherwise, I think it's just going to be a Tear of Twilight. It's going to be your main go-to artifact for the extra 30% increase in attack. Plus, he has the extra ability to increase his attack right into his kit as he's going. So extra 25% there, extra 30% from Tear of Twilight. Total that I have on his kit, on his build right now, is actually 21.818. So this attack is gonna really build up. All right. So the first thing I want to try to test him in right off the bat is gonna be, I want to take him into Artifact Material Raid. I always choose to go in here instead of Guild Boss 1 because it's a little easier for me to see the damage numbers. I want to test the Soulbound Arcana versus Infernal Roar, because it does say right here in his kit that on his ultimate, when the ultimate is activated, it increases the hero's attack by 30%. Oh, there's an extra 30% I forgot about. During this time, transform the hero's basic attack into Fireball or Blizzard. So to me, that means that there's a good chance that Infernal Roar might be your best bet. But let's check it out. Place him down on the field. We'll check his damage numbers, and then we'll page him in Infernal Roar, place him down the field, check his damage numbers again. Now, I want him to stay in... How does this work again? You want him to stay in Fire form, you need to place a unit after him. So we're going to start out with Cyrus first, and then place him. He should stay in Fire form, I believe. Is he doing fire? Yep, he is. Alright, let's start his ult. Alright, so the damage is looking like 88.7. Yep, 88.7. I'm assuming that if I hit this, it should go up a little bit higher. Well, not. Yeah, there you go. 95. So that's his first stack of Soulbound Arcana there. Let's go ahead and, well, I'll just wait until the ultimate's done. Alright, so we're at 64, 65%. Let's quit the battle. We'll go ahead and put him in Infernal Roar, and then we'll come back and try it out again and see if we get any further. Our damage numbers are much higher. Alright, so here he is in Infernal Roar. His damage stats are pretty much the same, 21.76 and 303% crit damage. I think there's a little more crit damage here, but it's not going to make that much of a difference. Their testing won't work. We'll be able to tell pretty quickly if Infernal Roar is going to work really well on him. Of course, in super long battles, Soulbound Arcana is still going to come out on top. Now to keep him in fire form again, we're gonna place down Cyrus and then Malrik. Speed up a little bit so this guy gets walking over here. Activate his ultimate. Oh yes, so we're well over 110k. So Inferno Roar is working great on him, and it's gonna work on all of his abilities coming out. Very nice. We'll see where he ends. We were at 64-65% on the last test. Right now we're at 68, 64 already. Ultimate still has time. So down to 58%. Obviously, that's a sure indication that Inferno Roar is going to be your best bet if you don't want to do really long fights with him, or if you need higher damage more quickly. Alright, so his damage isn't so crazy that he's going to be able to just sit there and ult the boss down. There's a lot of heroes that can do that. Xeris is one, Silas is one. There's plenty of units out there that can actually just one-shot the boss. But this guy doesn't seem to be that unit. So his damage is good, but it's about half of what it needs to be in order to one-shot the boss. We could see what happens at Awaken level 1 later. Alright, so now I want to take him into Gear Raid 1 and check out his AoE control. You see his single target damage is pretty good. As of right now, I'm not really pushing for a maximum damage number in any kind of certain kind of team. But what we do want to do is take him into Gear Raid 18 and do a little bit of comparison. I do a lot of these videos in Gear Raid 18 to see how these AoE mages stand up against this stage. Some of them actually fail, so you'd be surprised how many of them can't make it through. We do want to put him into Frost form, so this is going to be a good showcase for that as well. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to do is that we know if we want to get Frost form, I had to place a platform unit within his range after placing him. Alright, so we're going to place him first. He could go back one step too, but also what I can do is I can just take a platform unit like Diao Chen and place her within his range, so it has to be within these squares. And I'm going to swap her in to Hope, I think it is. Serenade of Hope. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't remember. I think it's Serenade of Hope. And then we'll wait and see how he does with this stage. I will place down Laurel and try to get some extra damage numbers. And then I'll place down Elo in here as well for more rage. Alright, so here they come. Activate his ult. He should be doing frost damage and AoE. Yep, you can see he's already glowing. He's already glowing with the blue colors. Damage is good, it's strong. Not really seeing a lot of Winter's Bite, so here comes one of those attacks. I think when he goes really slow and he hits, that's usually when he has the... He's a Blizzard. Is it Blizzard? Maybe it's not Blizzard. It's something else. It's the Ice Storm or something. The chance to inflict Winter's Bite. Alright, so we're gonna put it on 2x and we're gonna just let this guy go. Just see how he does. Hopefully he can just have no problems with them at all. That would be nice. Get him going again. Alright, I'm gonna actually put it on 1x for a while. I want to see the animation when it comes out. Not that one, that's just normal Blizzard. Now this is the, there he goes. That is the thing that can inflict Winter's Bite. You can see there's a couple units out there with Winter's Bite on them. There's a 50% chance for that to happen. Get him awakened a lot further and get that up to a 70%. Which is probably pretty ideal. Alright, here we go again. I think his AoE damage is much more capable than his single target. The Frost form is going to be a lot stronger as far as I can tell. See how he does against these guys coming in. Good damage to the boss. The power dominance is off on this, by the way, just so you know. And he seems to be doing a great job still. Too bad you can't like switch his forms in the middle of it. Alright, we're gonna get that damage increase. But by this point in time, he would have a nice attack boost, especially if he was in Soulbound Arcana, so he should have the full 25%, I believe. At this point, yeah. Not a problem, not a problem at all. I've seen better, again, I've seen it where less than 70 or 25% was taken off the wall. That's heroes like Comet, stuff like that. Veer, not even maybe. But, you know, he did a really good job and he brought in a lot more control. Alright, so as far as bringing them into a boss fight, I'm not really sure that's going to be the place for him. But I think that it's time to start awakening him and seeing how his awakenings help him do more damage. Alright, so I'm going to start with awakening level 1, and I want to take him back into Artifact and Hugo Raid and see how much closer he gets. Because remember, we got down to 60% roughly with awakening level 0. So let's give him a stone, awaken his butt a little bit. Let's go. Alright, so remember, this one's going to increase his damage and inflict magic vulnerability on the boss. He's going to be doing 60% extra increased damage, so, and that magic, more extra 10% from the magic vulnerabilities as well. But the extra magic vulnerabilities will actually help him with other units doing more damage if they were out there. Alright, so let's do this again. Remember, we got to play Cyrus first and then Malrik to keep him in his fire form. Alright. Cyrus. Malrik. We're gonna activate him. See where he gets. So I feel like I'm getting the same kind of damage out of him. Pretty much. It was 117k. Well, it is 129 now, which is interesting. 117 is still 117. I'm getting the same kind of damage numbers. We didn't even get down any lower than before. I think it was 57.4. And now we're down to 57.2, 57.4. Same kind of numbers. So we didn't really see much of an increase there, which is interesting. I think I have to look at his awakenings one more time to check out what is happening and see if there's something I'm missing. There's a possibility something in his kit is not there. Hit challenge again. Let's go to his awakenings. Awaken level 1. Elemental Covenant is enhanced. This is going to be... Oh, so okay, it's just a chance for his Fire Blast to do more damage. So this is going to go up to 460% damage one time. That number could have increased and I just didn't see it. And this is where the Winter's Bite is increased to 70% as well. Let's go check him out and see if we get more Winter's Bite out of him in Gear Raid 1. Damage numbers seem to be almost the same, even with that extra 60% on that ability. So it is what it is. Awaken level 1. This one's going to give us the Winter's Bite. I want to go into stage 18. Alright, let's go. Remember, we need to place a unit in his range after him in order to get him into that frost form. So, Yao Chen, here we go. We should see a lot more Winter's Bite coming out of him. We should. It's hard to say. It's hard to say. Alright, here comes the enemies. There he goes. He's got it going already. I mean, I feel like they got a lot of Winter's Bite there. You can see it. You can see it applying all over the place, and them freezing and locking up. Let's get a little farther in the fight here. Come on, enemies. If it's really working, we should have less damage on the wall by the time we're done. Here it goes. Winter's Bite. Winter's Bite. It's all over the place. I think you gotta get 3 stacks in order to actually give him a freeze. There's a freeze. It's slowing them down. That worked pretty well, honestly. I think this is working pretty well. And this is what I think he's really all about. You know, is getting these Winter's Bites out here. I don't think he's so much about boss killing or anything like that. He is doing this significant damage as a single target, but I'm just not seeing craziness, if you know what I mean. The wall's approaching 75%. Activate him again now. I mean, he's hitting for like 200k a hit. And you take him out before we get down to what was like 40%? Doesn't seem like it. 50%. So they did a little bit better. The extra freezes slowed him down a little bit. made things a little bit nicer. I don't know. I think I don't really have any other things I want to show about him. I think that he's going to be good in GVG, but I can't show you that here on the test server. I'll look at his single target a little bit more in depth and see if there's a chance that he could do a lot better than I'm seeing him as a single target unit. Just a moment here. So, doing single target damage one time while in the same form. Every basic attack triggers Fire Blast or Ice Storm. He could be good paired with Infernal Blast Lord. That's I'm guessing what he's going to be good at. When casting the ultimate, restores 10% enrage to heroes granted with Wizard's Rune. Permanently increases attack, hero's attack. That's all fine and dandy. But Fireball really is only doing damage. So I just don't see it being that big of a deal. I could be wrong. Speed boost is great. If the Fireball was offering something more to his hit here on, like for Guild Boss 1, for example, or APOC 2, or Simra, for example, I'm not really sure I see it. Gives a little extra damage to a unit around him. Single target magic damage. Nothing is crazy is happening here besides increasing his attack. But I think he'd be very good in Infernal Blast team as a good option. Nocturne level good, I'm guessing. Maybe not even Nocturne level, but something like near that. No basic attack is launched for 5 seconds. Next time you trigger this effect, Fire Blast just deals damage. Oh, it does do burning. But it only happens every 5 attacks, so it's not going to be a lot of burns. Yeah, I'm not seeing it. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think I'm going to cut the testing there. I think that, personally, he's going to be more of an AoE mage for that Winter's Bite, and all the damage that's coming in. He did a really good job at that. As far as taking him into a single target as a standalone unit, it just wasn't really that impressive. Maybe if you pair him here with a Soul Cadence, and then he can help with the Focus of Fire effect, I believe they call it. Or Pyro Blitz for Soul Cadence, Focus Fire for Pyros, and whatever Lord ability that they're actually using. I think he would do well because his stats are going to be really high for it, so he could help with that initial hit. Otherwise, he's not really bringing much to the table for a single target, as far as I can tell. Xeris is going to do much better. You put him down on the field, he will take down Artifact Hero Raid one shot. For him, I just don't see, even with the Awakenings here, I don't really see it. A little extra damage increase, maybe from Awaken level 5. When either the hero or a hero granted with Wizard Rune dies, buys Wizard's, I just don't see it. That Wizard's Incantation may help you in Guild Boss 2, but it's not going to be that essential. If your heroes are dying, it's not really a good thing to really bring along. But anyways, I am going to cut the testing there. I think Malrik is a great unit. I'm really excited to get this unit. I'm more excited about him than I am of Talon or the other units being added right now. Just because he is Infernal Blast ESO unit, and I think he's more versatile than the rest of them. Even though Talon can be placed on ground and platform tiles, she should be pretty versatile as well. But I think that as far as like a general hero, I think that Malrik is going to be more useful for most players. But anyways, thanks for tuning in. I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, don't forget to like and subscribe. Also, don't forget to join the Discord. We have hero guides, stage guides, tier lists, price guides, everything you could possibly think of, and a good community that can help you out with questions you may have at any point in time you have. They like to do that as well. Prospector.gg is really close to being open for the hero guide section. Actually, a lot of the hero guides in Discord are now linking to the website's hero guides list, and that's going to include gear sets, artifacts, things that you want to use, and questions you may have. But anyways, thanks for tuning in, and until next time, keep digging.